Have you ever noticed how some men walk into a room and immediately command attention? They don't need to say a word. They don't need a $5,000 suit, yet they exude power. Meanwhile, others spend a fortune on clothes and still fade into the background of their own lives. Do you know why? Because elegance isn't bought, it's built. Think of Bruce Wayne, the billionaire, not Batman. He could be at a gala in a flawless tuxedo or walking the streets of Gotham in a cashmere coat and a simple t-shirt. But in any situation, he owns the room. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He wears the clothes don't wear him, and this is exactly where most men go wrong. They believe elegance comes from the clothing label, not from their mindset. They change their shirt, but they remain the same men without presence. They think the problem is in their wardrobe, when in reality, it's in the mirror. The secret of successful men isn't always having something new to wear, but making everything they wear look expensive. And this has a psychological reason that no one tells you about. If you want to be the kind of man who draws attention effortlessly, who makes any outfit look like high fashion, who walks into a room and is instantly taken seriously, then you already know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like. If you don't want to be elegant, no problem. But don't complain later when no one notices you. The secret code of wealth. Rich men don't buy clothes, they invest in them. A guy starts making money and suddenly thinks he needs a whole new wardrobe every month. He spends a fortune on trendy shirts, shoes that will be outdated in 6 months, and suits that look expensive but scream new money from a mile away. But then you look at the men who have truly made it. The billionaires, the business leaders, the aristocrats who run the world, and you realize they do the opposite. The blazer they wear is 15 years old. The suit, tailor-made decades ago and still flawless. The watch, it has survived 3 generations. This isn't random. This is strategy. According to a study by Bain & Company, 50% of luxury consumers' spending goes toward items that will lose value within 3 years. Meanwhile, the ultra-rich focus on pieces that get better over time. Why? Because they understand that wealth isn't built by spending, it's built by investing. The average man buys a $500 fast fashion suit that loses its shape after 5 washes and needs to be replaced every year. The powerful man invests in a $5,000 custom suit that lasts 20 years. Now, do the math. Who spent more in the long run? Worse still, the average guy is trapped in an endless cycle of buying, replacing, and buying again. Always chasing the next trend, trying to stay relevant. The wealthy man doesn't have that problem. He has already arrived. Do you know the difference between a Savile Row suit and an off-the-rack mall suit? The first one gets better with time. The second one falls apart. That's because high-quality pieces are made to last. The fabrics are superior, the fit is perfect, and wear and tear only add character to the clothing. It's like an Aston Martin that becomes more elegant with age, while a cheap car loses value the moment it leaves the dealership. Now, what happens when a man wears a suit that has lasted for decades? He exudes stability, confidence, power. He sends that silent message that only truly successful men understand. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I am who I am. Meanwhile, the guy constantly buying new clothes is basically shouting, "Look at me. I swear I have money." And the truth is, if you have to shout, you still haven't figured out the game. If you still think following trends is the key to looking sophisticated, consider this. The world's wealthiest billionaires avoid fast fashion the same way they avoid bad investments. Excessive fashion consumption is directly linked to impulsiveness and a lack of financial planning. In other words, people who shop all the time aren't thinking long-term, and those who don't think long-term will never be truly rich. Do you want to be the guy who keeps buying and never moves forward, or the guy who masters the game, invests? in what matters, and builds a wardrobe that works for him instead of against him? The answer is simple, but only those who understand the game truly get it. The secret game of elegance. Why powerful men don't buy new clothes. They just tailor the old ones. A guy starts making a little more money and suddenly thinks he needs to revamp his entire wardrobe. He buys new suits, fills his closet with shirts, shoes, and coats. But guess what happens after a few months? He realizes he wasted money on pieces he barely wore. Now look at the real giants, the men who dominate business, politics, and royalty. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, still wears suits that are over 30 years old. Ralph Lauren, one of the greatest icons of men's style, has been wearing the same blazers for decades. Old money billionaires don't rush to stores every season. They have tailors, and that's the difference between a man who truly understands the game and a man who only tries to look like he does. Buying new clothes is an amateur mistake. Here's a concept that might change the way you think. Every time you buy new clothes, you lose money. Sounds strange. Let's break it down. A new suit might cost $2,000. But if you already own a high-quality suit, a well-done adjustment costs $200. A new dress shirt might cost $150, but tailoring the sleeves and fit of one you already own costs $30. A new pair of shoes might set you back $800, but restoring a premium leather shoe costs $100. In the end, men who know what they're doing save thousands simply by perfecting what they already own. Now, why does this work? Because true elegance isn't about how many pieces you own. It's about the perfect fit of what you wear. A 2013 study from the Journal of Fashion Marketing and Management revealed that men who wear well-fitted clothing are perceived as more successful and confident, regardless of the price of the garment. That means a cheap suit that fits perfectly looks better than an expensive one that fits poorly. This is how men who've made it play the game. They don't waste time shopping for more clothes. They go to their tailor. The secret is simple. The most influential men in the world know that fit is more important than novelty. Think about Daniel Craig's James Bond. He doesn't wear suits that look like they came straight from a store window. He wears pieces that have been sculpted to his body, and that makes all the difference. Now look at the guy who thinks a new suit will solve everything. He buys a $3,000 blazer, but without tailoring, it looks like he borrowed it from his older brother. Meanwhile, a man who understands the game takes a suit he's had for years, tailors it to perfection, and instantly commands more authority than anyone in the room. That's what separates the men who play to win from those who just want to show they have money. The final test. Are you playing the right game? Next time you feel the urge to buy something new, ask yourself these 3 questions. Can what I already own be tailored to perfection? Am I buying out of necessity or impulse? Would this money be better invested in improving what I already have? Men who understand this game already know the answer. The real question is, do you? The code of powerful men, when less is so much more. It happens all the time. A guy walks into a store and sees that jacket. Everyone's wearing it, the trend of the moment. He thinks, if everyone is buying it, it must be good. He swipes his credit card, walks out satisfied. But then, 2 months later, he looks at that same jacket and realizes it's already outdated. Now look at the men who run the world. They don't follow this logic. They don't chase trends. They are the trend. And do you know how? By having a streamlined, timeless, and impeccably curated wardrobe. The secret of the ultra-rich and powerful men has never been about buying more. It has always been about buying better. Style is not about buying, it's about building. Here's the mistake 99% of men make. They think they need to buy new clothes all the time to look sophisticated. But this behavior is exactly what separates those who actually have money from those who want to look like they have money. A study from the University of California proves this. Researchers found that the more a man tries to flaunt wealth through consumption, the less powerful he is perceived to be. People respect those who maintain a discreet, timeless style without constantly needing to reaffirm their status. That's why Bernard Arnault, CEO of LVMH and one of the richest men in the world, always wears understated, tailored clothing. No flashy logos, no loud, attention-seeking outfits, just high-level pieces chosen strategically. Meanwhile, your typical new money guy thinks he needs to fill his closet with expensive, flashy items to get noticed. He falls into the endless consumption cycle, spending more, needing more, always chasing the next thing. And in the end, do you know who's really in control? Exactly, the one who buys less but chooses the right pieces, the secret of men who play the game right. Here's a concept most people don't understand. The man who invests in quality clothing actually saves money in the long run. Think about it. You can spend $300 on a cheap suit that lasts a year, or $3,000 on a tailor-made suit that lasts 20 years. You can buy a low-quality leather shoe for $100 and throw it away after 6 months, or spend $800 on a premium Oxford that only gets better with time. Now do the math. The guy who bought cheap had to replace everything multiple times. The man who invested wisely wore the same item for decades, projecting confidence and power. Who made the smarter move? Powerful men play chess while everyone else plays checkers. They don't fall for the trap of mindless consumption. They build a wardrobe that gets stronger with time, not one that needs to be updated every season. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Leonardo da Vinci said this over 500 years ago, and it's still true today. A powerful man's style doesn't come from excess. It comes from precision. A real millionaire's watch doesn't have oversized diamonds. A real billionaire's suit doesn't need visible labels. A man who has truly won in life doesn't need to prove it. The ultimate question: are you in control? Before you go out and buy another item that will be obsolete in a few months, ask yourself, is this an investment or just another expense? The answer will determine whether you're controlling the game or being controlled by it. Now pay attention, this could change everything. You now understand that real elegance doesn't come from a full wardrobe, but from how you wear what you already have. But here's the catch. Even knowing this, most men still make the mistake of buying the wrong things. They pick the wrong pieces, invest in what loses value, and end up spending more trying to fix bad choices. The difference between an average man and a powerful man is exactly this mindset. One understands that elegance is a strategic construction. The other thinks buying something new is enough. And that's why, in the end, it always seems like the richest and most influential men never need to update their wardrobe, while others are constantly chasing the next trend. Want to know why? There's a secret code that successful men follow when it comes to dressing well without spending a fortune. If you haven't figured out this game yet, you need to watch this video, Why the World's Richest Men Never Buy New Clothes and Always Look More Elegant. But first, if you truly want to be part of the group of men who are taken seriously, you need to start acting like one. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a like if you want more power and success, because elegance isn't just a detail, it's a tool to get whatever you want. If you enjoyed the video, comment below. Power is in presence.